Sure thing.
Good thing.
Victor, this matchup's going to be interesting, right? Now, KTOD Tarkintown, probably very familiar to almost anybody who's played the game since Set 2 came out in some form or other.
Yeah.
But on the right side of your screen, Set 2 Han
with
and
Data
Vault.
Yeah. That's interesting.
This is a great... I run a Han2 Data Vault deck, which actually has the highest win share of any of my decks right now. So I don't know exactly what this is, but I have a good idea what it might be.
Exactly. There's two very different decks that could be on here. Like often you'd see Han2 with ECL, and then you're on to a really fast deck probably. Kind of reminiscent of what the swoop races were winning things in Poland with for last set. But with Data Vault, you might be on the deck that runs the new capital ship that gives you half price on everything.
Could be like
Have I played you?
Well, here we are, straight into turn 1. Han coming in with a Mon Mothma, gonna do a little searching. Mothma, not a very popular card, right? For whatever reason.
And this does not give the game away, actually, because both of those two decks I was talking about could certainly be running Mothma, but he pulled out a Bright Hope here, so that would suggest to me that he's trying to stall things, and that would suggest that we're on Sparrowhawk.
Cad going to come in with an early Greedo. Looks like a Greedo, yes? Yeah.
Yeah, that was Greedo from the first player weekly play kits. In set 1, and
go ahead and take care of Mon.
Yeah,
with Tarkintown.
Yeah, I mean, he wished he had a McClunky there, so he could have done it for free without using not for free, but without having to use the Tarkintown there. But I don't know.
Would have cost him the card, but wouldn't have cost him his base that's quite so early.
Exactly, and for a Mothma, I don't know that you want to use Tarkintown on Mom. She's not that a strong unit, but he just wants to be able to control where the ping goes, I think. So that's why he just want to keep the board really lean.
This is one of the strongest plays Han could be making early on, and coming in with new Poe, who immediately takes to space, and the damage that Han inflicts, of course, goes away when Poe moves up and becomes an attachment onto the X-Wing.
Exactly, and bringing his own ship like that is just super versatile. But he gets bounced right away. Waylay is just a perfect card there.
Kick in the teeth.
Exactly. Yeah, perfect play. That was what he needed there to get rid of that thing. So Greedo is alone on the board, and this is exactly what the CAD player wants to see here. CAD player, I mean, it's not a super fast deck, it's very much a mid-range deck, and against this kind of hand deck that I suspect that we're looking at, he definitely wants to try and run and race here. So being in this position is just great for him.
He's got a lot of ground to make up, right? He starts 8 health behind in the base race, and so any early pressure he can get will pay off in the long run. Coming in with Bright Hope.
So I don't think that is such a huge problem for the CAD deck here. He's almost certainly not space heavy in this deck, so I wouldn't be surprised if this is actually quite fine with the CAD player.
It was a double McClunky.
Yeah, and then replaying the Greedo again. So that's all 4 resources.
So that's CAD player absolutely keeping Han off the board here, but he's burning a lot of cards to do it. You have to wonder if that's going to come back to bite him in the later rounds. Because one of the things I sort of expect about this Han green deck is it should have longer legs, right? It should have bigger units at the top end that CAD may struggle a little bit with. We'll have to see.
You can almost certainly expect to see Home 1 in this deck, and
another Waylay? Goodness gracious.
Wow. I mean, all of this is keeping Han from getting a board, but at the same time, CAD just has that Greedo. He has not developed his own board at all at this point. And that's a crafty. Of course, that's very sticky, but he definitely needs some kind of maybe a blaster or something to be able to actually get some damage off of that. Let's see if he can trigger
finally
that.
Going off the board here. It took forever. Yeah. Boy, did Cad get a ton of work out of that one Greedo in his opening hand.
He did. But, I mean, it's only 6 damage on that base. We're on turn 5. We're going into turn 5 here. And there's 1 unit apiece. This is actually not that bad for the Han player, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know. Cad's about to come out, and I hope if you're Han, right, you have to have a plan for the Cad flip turn. What are you thinking? Sure. Put yourself in his chair and talk me through your thought.
I'd be struggling to see how he's actually going to one shot without ECL or anything. He probably can't deal with Cad in one action or anything, but he's probably got up in the range where he wants to be. He could be playing like a Poe. He could be playing big units now to start pressuring with some like actually hard units that could hit hard.
Well, we know Han does have the Poe in his hand. I doubt very seriously that he resourced it.
No, yeah, but he isn't playing 5. Yeah, he isn't playing it. He's betting on that space lane at this point. So now we get to see the hand, I suppose.
Well, it's he's.
Yeah. So those are some big units.
Sundari, Reinforcement Walker. There's the Poe.
Yeah. And the Crate Dragon there.
A Crate Dragon.
Yeah.
And a Blue Leader.
And that's a Blue Leader. So all of those cards are great. I expect the Cad player to remove the Walker, I think.
The Walker. He needs to get rid of the Walker.
That's my pull. But no, he goes for the
Crate. All right.
Going for the Crate. Because, of course, the Crate, once it hits the board, it's going to be reeler off. But, yeah.
Han's sitting on a lot of possible restore in his hand between the Sundari and the Reinforcement Walker. We're going to have to see how this shakes out.
Indeed. And there is not a lot of pressure built up on that base yet.
No, not yet.
Cad's probably just hitting the Sundari in order to get rid of it.
I think in his shoes, that's what I would do. Cad doesn't take a lot of pain back. Yeah, he's just going to pull a blaster out of the resource row and assassinate it.
Yeah, that makes so much sense.
Love this play.
Yeah, but again, he is not pressuring at this point. He is not putting a lot of pressure on that base yet. Maybe he can pull something off. At this point also, of course, Cad is starting to get some of their bigger units. We can expect him to be running things like Cad unit, I suppose.
For sure. He'll definitely be in there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing is that he has a limit on what he can capture, right? It's a question of how much health the unit has.
Yeah, it still hits for 7, so it's not... it's not a moot thing, and it can deal with that space lane that he seems to have very little of his own units for.
Yep.
He's getting some damage on the base now.
He is. Which is finally got a good 6 hit in there with his leader.
Yeah.
There's the timely interventions. I'm betting we're going to see... You think this is Poe? He's going to... I think he's going to ambush in the Poe.
Yeah, that's what I'd do.
I think it's a good call here. Yep.
Yeah. And he'd probably go for the leader here. Removing the gun first and then just taking 2 back. He's discarding Blue Leader for what I can only assume would be the gun.
My assumption is he's going to discard the blaster at least.
All right, and
okay, so he's probably going to discard the blaster and do 2 to the smuggler.
Yep.
And then my assumption is, and he's going to get a card out of his hand. He's going for the full trifecta.
Cool.
Wow.
Yeah, no, that's not bad. That's not bad. But we see he's got a syndicate
value, and he's going to knock Cad out.
Cad is gone for the round. So there's no.
Why did he take 4 back? That's wrong. He should only take 2 back. He got rid of the blaster.
He might have used the Han ability, maybe, but hasn't flipped the Han.
No, he didn't use the ability. He just ambushed it in. You could.
So he should only be at 2 damage then.
I'm pretty sure you can't combine timely intervention with Han's ability.
No, you
can't. Separate actions.
Did you see that was really fast? What did the Cad player use to remove? Was that the Syndicate lackeys?
I didn't see it, but I think it was an ambush unit, yes.
Yeah, he did have Syndicate lackeys in hand, but I think he's still got the Syndicate there, right? Looks like a Syndicate is in there. He did ambush something into and almost all of the units he could have ambushed there. Doesn't matter if there were 4 or maybe if it was one of those really small ones, the 2 ambushes.
That's saying it was Forlom.
Oh, Forlom. Oh, cool. So then, yeah, that makes sense. It didn't matter that he put the wrong amount of damage on the
large.
unit.
It's in charge. It is.
Yeah. There it is.
Crate Dragon.
Another Crate Dragon. He did draw into it.
Crate for 8.
And given that he's got so little damage on base, I don't think he really needed to play the Walker at this point. So Crate Dragon
probably
makes more
not.
sense. Yeah.
He's still got 20 health to play with. The Crate is a huge threat. We're looking at Jabba now coming in for the CAD player. Gonna let him dig around in his deck. He's
looking
take
for
the
some
damage.
I don't know exactly what you want to pull out with this. I guess Waylay, maybe?
Space. Okay, yeah. Because, refresh my memory, because on Crate Dragon, when the opposing player plays a card, you choose whether to deal the damage to the base or a unit on the board. Is that correct?
The Crate Dragon owner would choose that.
Would choose. That's what I thought. Okay, so there. So we assign it to the base, and then Jabba goes and does his searching thing, and comes up with a shoot first.
Yeah, because 4 damage would only, remove half of Jabba's health pool. He's got a huge butt on that unit there. So, it makes sense to put it on base. Maybe you could have removed Sabine there. Sorry, Basine, but I don't know why you would, though. So, let's see. There's nothing here that can actually hurt the Crate. But did you see what he pulled out with the search?
He pulled out a shoot first with the search.
A shoot first, okay.
Doesn't really help him in this position.
Not much at all, unless he's scooping it.
Yeah, he's just like,
scooping.
Yep, we're gonna call
that
it.
makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense.
Why drag it out?
Not get. Yeah, I think the key here was that even though he was managing the board really well, the CAD player can't be the control player in this matchup. He has to be the beatdown, and not being able to put that early pressure, just having that Greedo to really work with, that's not enough. He needs to see some and develop some board early and put a lot of pressure on the ham player while keeping the ham board small so he can utilize his ping at maximum. So it's a tricky, this is a tricky one. Not sure how to actually say. I think the matchup is really a close call. Could go either way.
Interesting sideboard choices here. Okay,
yeah, he's taking out the Crate, right?
No, I don't think he is. I think he's pulling in another one.
Oh yeah, okay, that makes
I believe
more
that's
sense.
what we're seeing here. But we shouldn't be talking about this stuff anyway. So okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
I can't stop that. Sure.
So if this sounds a little bit weird to you listeners, it's because we've got Loopy in our ear and he's giving us some pointers here. But so we could see we could see Christopher there pulling out his Bright Hopes. Makes a lot of sense because the deck that he's facing isn't running a ton of space at all. We did see, however, that there were when you flip through now the deck, I don't know if he brought that in or if it was always there, but I could see some Devastators in the Cad Bane deck there.
I saw those as well.
So I think that makes sense if that's what he's bringing in, because he needs more top end. And Devastator in this deck could really be the difference, that he actually gets something that can work. But with the Crate Dragon already out, it's going to be hard because it's just going to auto die before it can do anything. And yeah, sure, 4 damage, but it's not removing a crate.
And so, I just popped in for a second here. A shout out to Jonathan from Bothan Network who made this, but this is actually the undefeateds going into round 3. So, I mean, if you compare that with the deck representation, I mean, we can kind of look at what's
already see.
So
we can already see quite what the conversion is looking like.
Yep.
Quinlan is doing real well.
Yep.
Sabine is doing real well.
So
they both more than doubled their shares.
Yep.
Han Solo also pretty much doubled their share, going from 7 to 13.2. And Anakin Skywalker is doing real well, doubling their share as well.
That Anakin Colossus deck is real.
3.9% Darth Vader Data Vault, Lord of the Sith, my friend.
Let's go, Dark Lord of the Sith. Let's do it.
So they've improved by 0.6 points.
Yep. Well, hey, undefeated Vaders is undefeated Vaders. And
yeah.
I see a Ray Tarkintown in there. I'm going to say that I put Ray on the thumbnail because it matched the blue the best. And hopefully that's Chris Schutz, because I told him that he needs to make my thumbnail make sense, and I'll be mad at him if he loses. So,
one of my early takeaways from seeing this graph is that the rare bases out of set 4 are making a much larger impact in the game than the rare bases out of set 3.
Absolutely. Hey, Jonathan, if you're listening, make some analysis of that. Tell us what the base win percentage is.
Yeah, I'm here.
And we got resourcing going on, so I'm going to let you guys get back to the next match.
Shouldn't gap too long, because Han is starting off with the exact same play he started last game with, looking at
looking for something. And I don't think he's going to be looking for a Bright Hope. I think those were all gone now, so he might be looking at something more juicy here. That is a home one, so he's going for the late game immediately.
Boy, if you're now, I'll say one thing that I'm a little surprised. It's interesting. Like, for starters, shout out to the Bothan Network guys and the Bothan Invitational mat on the portion of your screen there. I think you guys are seeing that along the bottom. For me, it's on the right, but this is a matchup that he absolutely has a plan for, has seen before. I'm a little surprised to see, fishing a card that impactful this early, knowing that your opponent is going to be playing Bazine Natal in triple.
Right, exactly. But that makes me think that he might have Salvage in that deck. Salvage is a card that's been... Salvage has been part of the discussion in the Bothan service for a while now, and I know those guys love it. And Chrispy is just an amazing player, so I would not be surprised to have that. And that's Sundari coming down, and I think the shield is already gone from the crafty there, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep. Cat opting to hold the Tarkintown this time, just using the Smuggler to knock off Mon Mothma this game. So he's still available. There's that Greedo he got so much work out of in game 1.
Yeah. And this is already looking a lot better for board-wise for the CAD player. This is the kind of board that he would be happy to get here.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Sundari is going to be great here as well.
I think last game he may not have, you can't really see there. These guys are playing so quickly, you're not getting great glimpses into their hands, but it felt like he was getting fed. His deck was feeding him a lot of those power events that you see in CAD decks. We saw the Waylays, we saw the McClunkies, and he was just trying to use them as best he could to hold the board down. Now, very obviously, I don't know if this was a conscious choice. I don't know what sideboard decisions he made, but getting better work out of his units here and building more of a board presence in the early game.
I bet that's what's happening here for sure. So Yaba hitting the board again. So these early units from the CAD player aren't huge. He's playing a very sticky game, I'd say. They aren't having huge power numbers, but they are having great booties, and they have shields and whatnot. So these are quite sticky units, which makes me think that he might be looking for blasters and other kinds of attachments to get him to deal the damage here. But we'll see what he can make of that. We don't know how he's running blasters anyway.
Yeah. One of the things that I think CAD is going to struggle with in this matchup, right, is, we were sitting here talking about he needs to build a board presence, right? But Han's early game is going to be to do exactly what this blue leader just did. Come in, ambush out the space unit, and just keep him off the board and keep damage off his base until he can get to his top end curve, right? The home one, the Crate Dragon, possibly a Starhawk, we don't know. That kind of thing at the top end gives Han a big advantage in this matchup.
Right, exactly. And blue leader is pivotal here, as is Sindoris for keeping health pretty good. And then,
Rebellious Hammerhead.
Yeah, right. So he is running some spicy units here for sure.
Oh, big time. I love it.
and that gets rid of the crafty. Obviously, can't get rid of the Jabba that easily. But what's that card? It's another crafty, isn't it? No.
Hang on a minute. I tabbed away so I could pull up the text.
That's
yes, that is another crafty. Yep.
Pinging the hammerhead, and there's some. Yeah, okay. So he was waiting for the other guy to be able to pay attention. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
That's good sportsmanship.
Yep. The other thing I'm liking here is Chrispy kind of, maybe leaning a little heavier on the space units this game than realizing that the CAD deck he's facing is not terribly space heavy.
Exactly. And there we saw Patrice use Tarkintown on the hammerhead, only to get it to be within range of that McClunky that he played for free. With Jabba out, he can play McClunkies for free. So
that hammerhead has a huge butt, right? 7 health coming into the board. You've got to, and 5 attack. I mean, when you've only got 25 HP on your base, a 5 strength unit is terrifying. So you can't. If you've got a way to get rid of it, you've got to get rid of it. And it takes him a little bit of work and a combo, right? It takes him a McClunky and some other cards, but he does get there.
He did get there, and the craft is back out for the last 2 resources there. And this game is looking much more even, but I still think it's leaning heavily towards Chrispy.
I think
having so little damage on that base.
Yeah. I was going to say, the early pressure, despite the board, the wider board we saw out of CAD this game, the early pressure just never really materialized. Chrispy also drawing into some cards that allowed him to kind of fend off a lot of CAD's early plays, and here we are as a match that we said was Patrice.
Yeah, I think I don't know. He
started down health, and now he's well behind in the race at this point. Down to 15 HP remaining.
Yeah, so that's the kind of thing I was looking for from the CAD player. That's the first blaster we see there, attaching to Jabba and removing Han from the board. So no Han ability this turn. Which means that Han is actually going to have to pay full price for everything. No discounts here. But
I love this
Sentinel
deck.
there.
I love this deck.
Coming
just the cards. What I love about you're seeing cards out of this deck you just don't normally see, and I absolutely adore it because they're good cards. They just don't get a lot of play.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think this is. And it's not unexpected to see this coming out of Chrispy and the Bothan Network. They have such a huge team to be testing decks with and finding all of these odd combinations that can do well.
Yep.
If any team can do it, it's them.
Yep. Reichian gets hit by that waylay that Jabba fished out for him earlier, and so he's able to push some base damage there.
And getting to 8 damage, but he's so far behind. Even though the board leans heavily CAD at the moment, we're closing in on those high resources. Han Solo ability back online now. We still haven't seen Patrice remove that home 1 yet. So home
you have to
could
believe it's coming. In fact, this might be it right
this
here.
Could be it.
There it is.
There it is. And could he get the hammerhead back? No, of course.
He can't afford the hammerhead, but he can absolutely afford the Sundari Peacekeeper.
Indeed.
Oh my goodness! And of course, perfect. Home 1 adding restore to everything. We're sneaking in something now.
So this could be the.
It's a raider. It's a sneak attack raider. I love this play.
Sneak attack raider is perfect here. That's 8 damage to base. Because there's no sentinels, so that's 8 damage to base.
He can put it all to base if he wants.
Yeah, I think he's removing here.
Yeah, he needs to get rid of the unit. He's going to go ahead and pop the blue leader here. That's a good call.
He needs to because
his ground units can deal with the Sundari.
Exactly, and he's already at 13 damage on base here. So he's a lot. It's a lot more sweaty for Patrice to have 13 damage than it is for Chrispy to have whatever damage he might have when this is over.
Absolutely. Now, the beauty of this is that Jabba's going to be able to assassinate this guy and still have 1 health remaining. That big giant 8 HP on Jabba having a big impact here, and then Patrice able to
14.
still push some damage to base. He's going to push 4 into home 1. Is he going to knock it out with the Raider when the Raiders win plate? I think he is. He's going to be able to kill it.
He is.
Oh, that is a great play from Patrice.
Very
that sneak
good.
attack Raider.
Very
well
good.
timed.
And that's exactly what he needed there.
He desperately needed that.
16 damage on base, and that's not nothing.
And a clear board for Han. That's definitely the sort of thing you want to see at this stage of the game if you're CAD.
Exactly. Of course, Han is going to keep pushing big threats now. That's as long as he can draw them, he will play big things every turn.
But the trick is that if Han's going to be playing big threats, it's probably only going to be one big threat around. So it's a question of if it's a space threat, then Patrice is going to have to come up with some other way to deal with it, right? He doesn't have any space units on the board right now. If it's a ground threat, he might have to just deal with it the old-fashioned way.
Yep. Certainly. Of course, there's always, I think that's a CAD unit in Patrice's hand there. So that's one way to deal with some things.
Dragon.
But not a dragon. It is. He did put 2 damage on that dragon, which means he can capture it with... He
could capture it if he wanted. I think he's just going to kill it. I mean, it's not going to feel great, but he can.
Yeah, that makes somewhat more sense because of how it will cost him so much to play the CAD unit. 7 damage to his base.
I think he just ambushed into it with 4 LOM is what I believe just happened.
That's what he did.
4 into it there.
Exactly, and get 4 on CAD there. It's not too bad.
Yep, put it on CAD leader, who's then going to keep pushing base damage. So again, for all our talk about Han's top end, Patrice doing a really good job of managing that game here as we get late into game 2. And then Bastine's going to have a look and see what else he's got lurking. We knew the Reikian was in there. We're looking at Wrecker, Walker, System Shock, and I missed what the last one was.
That was the big deal indirect damage thing. Okay. Which you got a capital ship.
Now, Wrecker could be big here. He got rid of the Walker, which is the right call. Wrecker could be big here because he could be looking like Chrispy might have a timely intervention in the row. We know he's playing them. I would expect them in this deck. A lot of big ambush threats here. And he's certainly got the resources.
That would allow him to remove both CAD unit and one of the small ones and just push Wrecker through one of the small ones, probably the Crafty, and push 5 damage to base there.
We're paying 5. This sounds like
that's not him. No, that's
okay. He drew another hammerhead, so he's going to deal 4 damage to CAD and throw him off the board.
That's very good. Crafty and Basin isn't going to threat him too much.
CAD pulls ahead now. 9 HP remaining for Chrispy on the bottom end of your screen. Still has 12 HP up top.
And that's
heavy.
Heavy, heavy. And that's another damage, but 25. It's not great, but
another sneak attack. Is this the Devastator? It is.
Ooh, that's the Devastator.
Sneak attack Devastator claims the game. Woo!
Patrice get it. That's really good. We're 1 apiece now. Interesting, and like I said, this matchup is really even. But
more even than I thought. Coming into game 2, I thought, man, I'm not sure how Patrice is going to do this, but he's got the cards in there to do it. As obviously we just watched it. Very, very nice.
We did, and I think that Devastator there was key, and
absolutely
sneak attacking the Devastator was just exactly what he needed to get
13.
There.
It's just 13 to base. Like you just, I mean, if you don't have an answer for that when it comes down, you're done.
Yep. And waiting, using all his board state to get durdling, as some people would like to call it, just bide the time of the round, and then play it in the last part of the round when your opponent can't really react to it. No resources open, no units open. So that's exactly how you do it.
100% all-star card in that game, sneak attack, right? Back to 2 of each of those basically back-breaking cards at exactly the right moment, paired with exactly the right unit out of Patrice's deck to just disrupt and destroy whatever it was that Chrispy was trying. Well done.
Yeah. No, without that sneak attack Raider, I think this game would have ended almost there. Letting that home one keep healthy, keep the base healthy while basically just winning the game. Would have been, he demanded an answer and he found it. And then that Devastator in the end there to get him across the line was just clutch.
So, ladies and gentlemen, on to game 3. Chrispy's going to start on the button here. Patrice not liking his hand, going to throw that back and try again.
I could not see any of what was going on with the resourcing from Chrispy there, but he at least kept his hand and seemed happy enough about it. So I can only assume he's got good opening units here, and some way to sort of try and move along to his game.
All right, Patrice is going to be stuck with whatever he comes up with. He's got a couple of crafties in his opening hands. That's not terrible.
Seen there as well.
It's like a Zuckus?
It's a Zuckus.
Forlum or Zuckus? I think that's Zuckus. I can't tell which exactly.
Yeah, it's a Zuckus. And a Raider, I think.
I'm pretty sure that right-hand card is a Raider.
Yeah, it's a Raider. And there's an event, a Waylay maybe?
I think possibly, yes.
So he's resourcing the Raider there.
Okay.
Interesting. So hey,
look, it's like we've seen this play before.
Obviously, Chrispy likes that. Apparently,
and
I guess
what I like about it. What I like about it is Mon Mothma a terribly good unit? No, but she does replace herself. Right? You play the card early on in the game, and then it puts a card back in your hand. So ordinarily, you're slowly losing card advantage over the course of the game. Cards like Mon Mothma help you avoid that by replacing themselves when they hit the board.
And guys, we may have the biggest Mon Mothma fan on the face of the planet in the chat. I know that Falafel is a huge Mon Mothma.
Yeah, that's
Mon had a big week for those of you that watched the Andor premiere on Disney Plus. Let me tell you, she had an interesting
Oh my God, spoilers!
That's why I'm going to say nothing else.
We see the crafty come down from the CAD player there and pinging
game 2 here. Game 3 starting very much like game 2. Crafty Smuggler going to knock out Mon Mothma after she pushes a little bit of base damage there.
No, I think since Chrispy's base, it's very, very much the same game we've already seen. So Chrispy basically being the defensive deck here, having card advantage, having more options is always what he wants to have in this case. He wants to be able to react to what Patrice is doing, and having more cards makes him have more options. So that's certainly not a bad thing. 2 damage to 3 damage? What happened? Oh, okay.
Tarkintown. Okay, he's going to McClunk. He played a McClunky to pull the smuggler who had lost his shield off the board. Then he went ahead and used Tarkintown to get rid of the Peacekeeper, which is frankly a really good use of it. In fact, now that I think back on it, did Patrice use? He did use Tarkintown last game. He did.
Yeah, he did, and use to take out the Hammerhead. And I think that's he used the Tarkintown on a Mon Mothma in that first game. Was just I guess nerves or something, because that's just not what you want to use your Tarkintown for.
One of the most terrifying plays you can see out of this deck, the 4 resource 6/6 Poe Dameron coming in here for Chrispy.
Well, I mean, obviously he's a 6/4 more like when
fair, but I mean, still that is horrifying.
Yep.
Patrice has the Waylay.
Yeah, that's the Waylay,
and he does it.
Yeah, he does it. Keeping the board lean means that he can just ping whatever comes down next turn as well. Obviously, with Tarkintown offline, it might not be exactly as impactful, but it's still good. So we move into round 5 here.
Indeed. A lot of back and forth in the early game here. Chrispy remains on the button. First to act in this round. He's been on the button the entirety of game 3 so far.
Yeah. Oh, I might be
comes
mistaken.
in with start the turn.
It's round 4 here.
Yes.
So
Han coming in.
Flips Han immediately.
Now, refresh my memory. Han's leader side is the same discount as the flip side? It is.
Yeah, no difference. No difference. Okay. The only thing, it's not limited, so you can do it any amount of times.
Patrice playing a Zuckus and pinging Han.
So that does still not put Han within any kind of range without a blaster. With the blaster, because with the blaster the crafty strikes for 4, and that's 1 off from killing Han. So he can still use Han ability this turn, if he so wishes.
Looks like he doesn't need it. He's going to
he's
just put Poe right back on the board.
Yep. And Patrice is thinking about going to base there, and he does.
Pushing base damage.
Yep. Keeping that shield.
Chrispy claims. Next turn's going to be interesting with a pair of 6/6s staring across from each other. I think Chrispy claiming there is a big deal because he's going to be able to get first dibs with his big unit.
Yeah. And I'm not sure who's benefiting more from trading here. I do think that that Poe is a better unit than Suckers, but not by much. And also seeing how Patrice needs to be rushing this game a little bit. I think he might be more reliant on those 6 damage going to base.
I think if I'm Chrispy here, I think I push all 8 to base. I think I send Poe to base, and I think I discard a card to do for 2 more. I think I just go 8 to base right here.
Or he kills
he does, but I think that's what I would do in his place.
2 cards to kill Crafty could be interesting as well.
He could kill the Crafty. He could discard the shield and deal the damage there to get rid of it. That would be a feasible play.
It's interesting at least.
See. We are discarding, it looks like a blue leader.
Yep.
To ditch the shield, and a reinforcement walker to kill the Crafty.
So he's doing exactly that.
And he's just going to clean Cad's board completely.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that makes sense. Right. That makes sense.
Good value.
That's because like I said, I think that Patrice is more in sort of relying on that 6 damage to base. Racing here could be beneficial for Chrispy, but it's more of a gamble, while controlling is what his deck is meant to do.
What I like about that play out of Chrispy is that it shows he has immense trust in the top end of his deck to deal with this when the time comes.
Exactly.
I, not having played this game, this deck or this match, I clearly don't have that same trust. Oh, is that a mace? That's a mace.
That's mace.
Mace gonna come in and
kill the Yaba and gets to stand up again and possibly go to base.
So many great cards in this deck.
Yeah, he would survive hitting. Oh no! So Cad takes that option off by
looks like Cad's going to punch Mace off. Mace out. He does.
No.
Well, okay. Patrice maybe Patrice, I think, is thinking about it, but hasn't quite made up his mind just yet.
So I think that
Cad goes to base.
He just put 4 on base because he kind of knows that Chrispy is probably going to trade anyway. But that means that the Mace stays on the board, right? Because he's got 7.
I was going to say if Chrispy attacks him with Mace, Mace is still now. Mace only has 6 damage on him. He's still alive. He's a 5/7.
Right. So he doesn't get to stand up.
Okay, so somebody has to die there. Okay, so now between Cad's ping and the McClunky, that's going to clean up Chrispy's board.
Right. So, and that's. I mean, he's got that CAD unit, but only with 3 health on it. He's already used Tarkintown. So if you look at the board state right now, it's almost like a wash. He's only got 8 damage on that data vault. And
they're basically tied, aren't they?
Yeah, they're basically
close anyway.
Tied. Yeah,
24
very
to 26.
So.
So I mean,
very much so. And the unit advantage here 25. Isn't big enough. Yeah.
It's a timely. It's a Reichian. Yeah. We're going to ambush in a Reichian, and make him a Sentinel, kill Cad, and only take 2 back.
Yeah. Exactly. So
Love it.
I think that the board state in a way kind of favors Chrispy still.
And Reichian gets to give himself an experience token.
Yeah, exactly, because he's
and Big Cat unit comes in and says, none of that shenanigans.
Yeah.
Love it.
But he's gonna have to give Reichian back though if he wants to attack with that Cad.
I doubt he has to read it. I love that he has to read. He's like, I don't even know what this friggin' card does.
Reichian's not going to get any Sentinel when he enters play. He only gets
correct
Sentinel when he's played or when he attacks.
Right. Oh, and there's the crate.
That's the crate. Oh.
Also, Chrispy reaches his top end.
Yeah, but he's got only 8 health left. So if Patrice got any pump, and I think I see a pump there, even like a shoot first would be good here, because then Cad can kill him. Oh,
that was a. Did you see what it was? It was no disintegrations was the card he played.
Wow!
So it takes the crate to 1 health.
Wow!
And now all he has to do is play an underworld unit, and it will. And Cad's will kill it.
Yep. Any underworld card will do it. So a 1-cost underworld card.
There it is.
Greedo just kills it.
Nice.
It's not often you get to see Greedo kill a crate, but
I love no disintegrations. But that's one of the most ingenious uses I've seen of it. That's brilliant.
I think so. And only it didn't cost that much either, so he didn't.
It's only 3.
He only got to put 3 damage on Cad there. That's all.
7 to base. Does he want to get Reichian back and give Patrice the cards?
He should have been able to do 1 more crate ping for the
Greedo.
For the Greedo.
Yeah, it looks like they might have missed that.
Yeah. So in the resource row, I saw 1 home 1. So that means there are only 2 more in the deck. Other than that, I didn't pay attention enough to see what else was there.
Man, after game 1, I thought Chrispy had this matchup in the bag, but Patrice is just playing it brilliantly. There you go. There's a home 1.
That's another home 1.
So the question is, what's he going to get with the ability? Maybe a blue leader? There you go. That would have been a good call. Go space.
Yeah.
Do a little lane dodging here. Oh!
No, yeah, he's got 2 more resources
use the ability.
We can get Reichian back there.
Very nice.
That's certainly what you want to do there. And also you get the restore from that. So that's 1 restore.
Yes, you do. What a brilliant play.
Yeah, and now having access to Sentinels wherever you need
claims
them.
There.
Yeah. Know what he's going to do.
I think he's... I guess he's trying to make sure that Reichian's doesn't get first hit to get the Sentinel ability off, or either that or he just didn't have a good play. I'm not sure there. It looks like he's got a lot of events in his hand.
He's got a lackey in hand there, but he's also got
change of heart, ladies and gentlemen.
And that's what he wanted. That's why he claimed. Because he could have lackeyed into Reichian there, but this is better.
All of these sneaky, cunning events, ladies and gentlemen. Just brilliant. Another crate. I might have never seen a game with 2 crate dragons, but I have now.
Yep.
Wow.
And here's why.
So if you're playing the
Starhawk
version, Wes, I've actually double spelled crate dragons. Deal with that.
Exactly. I've seen
because they're not unique.
No, they're not. I've seen.
That's nuts, man. This game. I could not. I'm so happy I came to sit to cast this game. This is amazing. And there's the third dragon in his hand.
That's the 3rd dragon and a hammerhead and the huge indirect damage event. So he's removing the crate.
Bombardment.
Yeah. So
okay,
so still there, and he's got to ping something, and so does that
he gets
damage
to
go?
And then 2 damage to base with the crate dragon because he played busy.
Yeah, should be 2. Oh yeah, no restore, I guess. Yeah.
When he attacked with home 1, he got the restore, so he cleaned up the 1 damage off his base from earlier. That Mon Mothma put on there like 10 minutes ago.
Exactly. But now the home 1 is back home.
This is starting to look dark for Patrice now.
Isn't it? The crate's just going to go straight through that Basine. I bet. And then
I would. It's a huge... you might as well just get rid of it.
Yeah. No, you just want to hold back the Reichian to see where the threats come so that you can sentinel something. He might even sentinel the crate dragon just for the heck of it, He
just went straight to base. He didn't even bother rolling over Bazine. He's like, 10 to base.
Okay.
Technically, Chrispy has lethal on board right now, I think, because he's got 5 and 7, 12. No, 12 is not enough.
Yeah.
He needs 13.
7, 5, 7, 12. Yeah, no, he's one off. He's one off.
He's one off at the moment.
Any pump would do it, and I don't know how much of the Rebel package is running.
I I doubt he's got anything in there. I mean, in green, you might have things like tactical advantage, but I doubt very seriously he's wasting deck space on that sort of thing.
Right. Yeah. No, he could have had fleet lieutenants, but I don't think he does.
No, I don't think he does either. I think we'd have seen one by now. And this deck has got, I mean, yes, there's rebels in it, obviously, but I don't think it's a heavy enough rebel package to maybe warrant the fleet.
Well,
lieutenant.
I mean, most of the things are rebels. Basically, the crates aren't. Almost all the other things are rebels, and so Mothma can pull them. But I don't think he's relying on pumps because he's the control, and the units are big enough anyway.
Okay, he's going to spend 2 for a sneak attack.
Oh, sneak attack.
As he does that, the Crate Dragon will fire, which means that Chrispy gets to assign 2 damage somewhere. Now, this is dicey because if Chrispy assigns this to the base, he does have lethal now. Yeah.
So I think that's exactly what they're talking about, the timing here, and he gets to resolve the full event before if he wants to, but he can also choose Chrispy to resolve first.
I think they're reading the Crate Dragon to make sure they do the damage on this correctly, and I'm actually going to do the same thing to make sure that we are interpreting this the right way. So let me go back and pull that card up.
If I remember correctly, the player that is taking the turn can decide who's going to resolve all of their triggers. But if he chooses himself, he's going to have to resolve the trigger on the card and play the card and all of that. But I think at this point he can choose the crate. He's choosing Chrispy to resolve all his triggers. I think that's how it works.
That's saying the crate doesn't fire until the event resolves. I'm not sure that's technically correct because it says when an opponent plays a card, you may deal damage equal to that card's cost to their base or a ground unit they control. So to me, every time a card comes out of his hand, he gets to point and deal damage.
Yep. So
it seems that
the other thing that's going on here is on sneak attack. You actually have 2 crate triggers because there is a 2-cost crate trigger and a 9-cost crate trigger.
Yep.
And
exactly.
The sneak attack gets to complete, but I don't think that really helps CAD here.
No. I'm not sure it does, right? Because the way the Crate Dragon is worded, you assign damage based on the cost of the card, not what the opponent paid for it.
Exactly.
So that could be, if I'm understanding it literally could be 10 to base.
It's 10 to base if he wants it, and then any unit can take it this game. So that's certainly what he can do. So I don't think Patrice knows this. And I'm not sure. I think Patrice could assign the crate damage to go off from the 2 cost of the event first. But either way, that's not going to matter that much.
Yeah, I think this is kind of a Hail Mary that in the end, the crate is going to end up preventing. So chat's basically saying that we're full of crap and that the event resolves, both cards come in. But I think by the time he plays the Devastator, that playing the Devastator is his action, and then the very next action, if that's the way it goes, Chrispy just swings with either one of his units, and there it is. Exactly. There's no way out of that.
Yep, and I think that
there's no way out of that.
What a match, guys! That was
that was great. A great game.
That was great.
Can you see why I like Han Data Vault? And I haven't posted that list.
And we didn't even see the Sparrowhawks here, and I think Sparrowhawks in that deck.
I would put it in. Like, why would you not? It's a 6/9 ambush, so you would end up paying what 7 or 8 for a 6/7 ambush card that makes everything else half price. I'd play that card in this deck. Heck yeah, bring it on.
Yeah. And